What's going on, my fellow A-Plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode of A+ Morphinominal, your stop for your Power Rangers, Super Sentai, and Kamen Rider review and news right here on our YouTube page. It is I, your Morphinominal host, back once again, Adam Perez, to go ahead and bring in Toku Tuesday once again, ladies and gentlemen, as we're going to be getting into Kiramager episode number 33. So happy Toku Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. I certainly hope your week has certainly started off fantastically well, and hopefully your Thanksgiving holiday was a smash success as well, guys. So since it is Toku Tuesday, you know we've got Kiramager certainly coming for you guys today. As far as a reaction video in Kamen Rider Saber, let's go ahead and give you guys a quick update in regards to both of those. So when it comes to our reaction videos, since we just wrapped up Go Busters, I do plan on doing Go Kaiger here within the next 2 weeks. I am trying to get a little bit ahead of myself as I am pre-recording some of these reaction videos before we release them. Also because of the fact that we will be releasing our Patreon this week, and I do want to be able to give people early access to our reaction videos as part of Patreon, so definitely look out for that. But don't worry, our reaction videos for the public will in fact be back up here within the next couple of weeks, so certainly look out for that. Kamen Rider Saber, though, will in fact be on hiatus on hiatus for a week. Not because they're airing it in hiatus, but because of the fact that Stuart certainly does have a lot certainly on his plate this week. Some personal things that he certainly has to go ahead and get taken care of. But he did say that for his next week's episode of Toku Tuesday, he will be doubling up on his Kamen Rider Saber reviews for you guys. So no Saber reviews this week, but we will be doubling up next week for Toku Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. So certainly look forward to that. So no Stuart today, but you do have this handsome face. So let's go ahead and get into Kamen Rider Kiramager episode number 33. Now this is the second episode that the director Kaiotaka Taguchi did go ahead and helm this week. He did the Seo's love story, if you will, in episode 32 also, and this was his second run at Kiramager for episode 33. Again, that's Kaiotaka Taguchi, most notably known for his time working on Ultraman Z, which is yet another tokusatsu series that I definitely personally have been mentioning that I've been wanting to certainly get into. And to be honest with you, I've been really impressed with what Taguchi was certainly able to do with these last two episodes. So if anything, he certainly has piqued my interest to go back and check out his previous work. So kudos to Taguchi for easily convincing me. Adam, go ahead and check out Ultraman Z when you get the opportunity to do so, because I thought he did marvelous work in here, not just bringing his particular vision to Kiramager, but I have felt like at least in these two episodes alone, I don't want to say they've become a little bit more grown up, but I feel like just the way that these episodes were really handled and the vision towards them, I definitely feel like the stakes were probably as high as we've ever really seen them for the Kiramagers. And so I feel like that has a lot to do not only with the storyline, but really the vision that Taguchi wind up bringing to this week's episode. So I hope we see him again. I think these are the only two episodes that we've had from him, but if he ever wants to come back to Super Sentai or Kiramager for that matter, feel free to please do so, man, because I had a blast watching when he was able to do. But yeah, the stakes are super high in this episode. You can honestly feel it, and you can really feel as though the Kiramagers were certainly trying to bring their A game here in this week's episode. I mean, we jump right into the action, if you will. I mean, the ramifications of what happened in episode number 32 are really being felt here. Seo's certainly being captured, right? We've got the Yodana Ivy seed that's starting to sprout or is about to sprout here on Earth that our Kiramagers certainly have to stop. So I love jumping into this episode and immediately seeing us at the command center, right? Like at the strategy table. And I love how they just utilize just random objects around their command center to utilize as places for who they are on this map, right? So the idea of them having a representation for the Marsk Beast, where the Yodana Ivy seed was at, the double snow cone, I think, was Gigant Driller. They had a duck that was supposed to be like Grateful Phoenix or things like that. I love just like all all the makeshift chess pieces that were certainly on the board here. But we clearly get to see just them trying to formulate a decent plan that'll certainly work. And so big ups to Moryu for coming up with a great plan, and specifically Tommy Tomo, who for the most part, I don't want to say took the lead of this particular mission, but he certainly put a ton of significant ideas ahead. And I think when it comes to Tommy Tomo, if there is anybody that should be the strategist of the group, it's probably him, considering the fact of all his experience in his E1 gaming, if you will, him being the leader of his team. Clearly he's got to be the strategist there. So it really works out. Like the end of this episode where we get to showcase King Oradin sort of narrating how the Kiramagers were successful in this episode, you know, how Garza kind of underestimated them. I love how King Oradin really significantly went through each individual Kiramager to showcase to you how they were helpful, not only in this mission, but really how well they all work together, right? Like how everybody has their spot on the team. They bring something unique and different to the team, but when you put them all together, they work so fluidly and so well. And so I love that Oradin really highlighted that, right? That Seiyo gave up being able to transform in order to give the Kiramagers a heads up as to what was coming their way. Takamichi, Shiguru, Seiyo, or Sina, I should say, all utilizing these Megazords by themselves to keep the Marsk beasts, you know, occupied in the meantime. And of course, Tommy Tomo with the great plan, and Juru with his insparkalization stuff. Like I love seeing how this team continues to just grow and bond themselves together and just work so seamlessly. And I love that King Oradin wind up bringing that to our focus here. But the episode itself, just at all times, felt like the stakes were high, and the great direction also again from Taguchi, just showcasing his vision. And I tell you what, this felt like one of the more dire situations we've ever seen our Kiramagers in. One of the things that I did love about this episode too, we have to talk a little bit about Garza and King Oradin. Like, this is a feud between these two brothers that I love, just so personal and full of hatred, right? I mean, the fact that, like, I even put in my notes, love seeing Garza, his continued hate for his brother. The rage and the hatred just continues on, right? Garza even boasts about his rage and hatred, like why he's able to get more powerful, his Kiramentality, if you will, right? The opposite of the Kiramentality. So it's really that dark energy that just continues to form. And so, you know, when we did see the rebirth, if you will, of King Oradin through this Grateful Phoenix, I remember specifically saying to myself, you know, Garza's pissed. You know, Garza's got to be pissed, right? He's had this hatred for his brother for such a long time, and the idea that his brother's alive and the first thing that he wants to do is meet up with his brother to go ahead and exact revenge or continue where he left off at. I mean, damn, Garza's as cold-blooded as they certainly come when it comes to Super Sentai, but I just love that continued hatred for his brother, because he's not letting up at all. And so while Garza definitely underestimated the Kiramagers here in this week's episode, I highly doubt that he certainly will going forward. At least I hope that he's smart enough certainly not to. I mean, his Garza's idea really was to not only come to Adamald in order to distract King Oradin, but I'm pretty sure he was trying to finally put him away, you know, put that last nail inside King Oradin's coffin if he certainly could, because I really do feel as though Garza's not really worried about the Kiramagers unless King Oradin is certainly there, right? So I think that's exactly what he was hoping to do in order to really catch the Kiramagers at one of their weakest points. But unfortunately for Garza, he's underestimating Juru once again. And so for me, I love just seeing this amazing plan that Juru winds up setting off to continue just establishing that relationship and that tie that he has with King Oradin, right? I mean, King Oradin's able to summon this guy in a heartbeat to jump right into his mind so that they're immediately linked up and communicating once again. And so I love the fact that Juru, all this episode, is kind of putting together these pieces on how to make this plan sort of benefit them, right? Like how to give this team sort of that one upper hand. And so for Juru to come up with the brilliant idea of summoning King Oradin to get inside of the Careful Go, mind you, Juru is doing all this while he is one-on-one facing against Yodana, who has a captured Seiyo in her grasps that Yodana is offering to kill. So mind you, just think about the immense pressure that's got to be on somebody's shoulders, right, to make these type of quick decisions when you've got a hostage that's your teammate that's about to be killed standing in front of you, and you've got to make this split decision to go ahead and use your sparkleization, your inspiration to go ahead and call in King Oradin. Like just from the brief moment of Juru looking at the queen's tiara, if you will, in the very beginning, I'm like, why is he fascinated with the queen's tiara, right? But it all makes sense by the end. I mean, Kiramager is known for doing this, for doing those like last minute flashback sequences so they can kind of put all the pieces together for you to see how we got to this end result. Now, there are times I think it's overutilized. Sometimes I think it's utilized to perfection. Sometimes I think it's like a little bit too much, you know what I mean? Like just play the story out. We don't have to go back and rewind each and every episode to showcase how it all falls into place. But in this week's episode, I really did appreciate it because it really had me scratching my head how all this kind of came together. But leave it up to Juru to kind of put all the pieces together that they've laid the groundwork for the past 32 episodes to make possible. Remembering the idea that the queen transferred herself into a gemstone. Remembering the idea that the Kirame stones can grow in size. We've seen them significantly do that on their own. And even when we saw Takamichi wind up becoming one of the Kirame stones also for the Gigant Driller. So utilizing all these things that he's learned all season long to put together for a brilliant plan to get the upper hand when it comes to Garzas, I thought it was absolutely incredible. And Juru again continues to show to prove to me why he is in fact the leader of this team. While everybody on this team certainly brings their part to it, make no mistake, Juru certainly has his, and it's coming up with some brilliant plans, man. So and it's funny too. Going back to Juru's plan, I love the fact that they utilize this to create the new weapon at the end, the gigantic careful go arrow, if you will, how they utilized it for the Megazords this week, right? I think they were trying to go ahead and destroy the Yodon seed, the Yodon Ivy seed. I think even Gigant Driller took a shot at it, but unfortunately it certainly didn't work. So the idea that they needed a more powerful weapon, like even the Grateful Phoenix's finishing move wouldn't be able to take down that Yodon Ivy seed. But to be able to see Juru again utilizing his brilliant plans, growing the careful bow big enough for 4 Megazords to use, I thought it was brilliant. And I specifically thought it was brilliant just because I think this past weekend when we did our live episode of A+ Morphinominal, somebody asked me, like, Adam, if there was one Power Ranger weapon that you could see utilized again that you haven't in a while, what would it be? And one of the things that I always said was like maybe like a bazooka, or like like those when all our team members usually take their individual weapons and then combine them into a big like buster weapon or a big bazooka, and everybody's got to either hold on to it or channel their energy into the person holding it and things like that. Those are the weapons that I miss. And so the fact that I get to see that reenacted here, but for Megazords, man, talk about a dream come true, man. Like, I honestly wasn't expecting like a buster weapon of any type, but for a buster weapon to be for 4 Megazords, yes please. Yes please, above and beyond anything that I certainly was expecting. But I thought it was absolutely great to see what they were able to do with this Megazord battle. So incredible action, incredible Megazord battle. It's one of those things, this battle for me, this sequence of seeing the 3 Megazords and then Takamichi along with, not Takamichi, Tomitomo along with Juru facing off against a bunch of muddies all at the same time. Again, a shout out to Taguchi, the amazing director, for being able to pull this off so seamlessly. But I'm always impressed in just regards to how much a technical, like the technicality that goes into pulling off these seamless transitions of battles and things like that. Mixture of practical, mixture of special effects and CGI, and then having that all just feel so seamless. I thought it was beautiful. So seeing Tomitomo and Juru face off against the Muddies, while you've got the Megazords in the background facing off against each other. There's even a shot in here where I think Takamichi, with his gigant driller, like slaps a sword out of one of the Marsk Beast's hands, and the gigantic sword that falls out of his hands literally lands in the concrete next to Tomitomo and Juru. And I thought it was just a really cool effect. Explosions happening around them from the Megazord battle. It was just so hectic and so chaotic, and to kind of all be in this one sort of long tracking shot, almost unedited, if you will. I thought it was just absolutely brilliant. Easily in my top 5 action sequences of this season, and there have been some amazing, brilliant ones, to say the least. So big props to Taguchi for an amazing directing job, not only just for our actors and really having his vision give us sort of this sense of risk and a lot at stake, but also just the amazing storytelling that we wind up getting here this episode. So overall, man, blew me away. Great episode, and continues to be, once again, another fantastic season. But listen, guys, outside of that those are my A+ opinions in regards to episode 33 of Kiramager. At the end of the day, though, I definitely want to go ahead and know yours. So please let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. And of course, listen, if there's anything that I missed, whether it be characters, plot details, storyline arcs that I might have skimmed over, or something that you want to go ahead and bring to my attention, feel free to go ahead and do so, guys. You guys know I certainly love to continue this discussion with you guys, even after this episode has certainly aired. But before we wrap up here, you do know that we like to jump into some of our live viewer questions that you guys certainly might have. Sometimes they're in regards to Kiramager, sometimes they're just in regards to Power Rangers or Tokusatsu in general, which we usually tackle every weekend on our live episodes of A+ Morphinominal. Again, Saturdays at noon Central Time, guys. So definitely join us for some of our live shows for sure. But let me go over to our A+ Morphinominal email account and see what we've got here. L'Oreal's got some questions in regards to Kiramager, so thank you very much, L'Oreal. Question 1: the team situation was heavy, wasn't it? Yeah, we talked about that in episode at the last week's episode 2, that it definitely felt like the Jotunheim was certainly making some moves for some really big personal attacks against our Kiramagers, as we clearly get to see with Seo, but other bigger attacks clearly as well with the 3 Marsks, and clearly seeing what Garza certainly had planned. So I had a feeling going into this week's episode that you were definitely going to feel those stakes continue to rise, and they definitely did. So very heavy episode, but I thought some of the best back-to-back episodes that I've seen this season, though. Another question you have, Tomitomo's rock, paper, scissors plan was pretty clever, wasn't it? Yeah, it really was. The initial attack that we wind up getting from the Marsk Beast, I thought was just as clever, to be honest with you, though. Having all 3 of them lined up with like a strategic sort of attack, right? The person in the front had the shield, so when our Kiramagers attacked, it just re-vibrated that attack right back at them, followed up by a second attack, right, by the Marsk Beast with the cannon. And then, of course, you've got that, it was almost like a 3-hit combo, if you will, from the Marsk Beast, because then we had the Marsk with the 2 swords coming down with the slash and stuff. So both of their plans, absolutely brilliant. But leave it up to Tomitomo for the great strategy, for sure. Again, the fact that King Oradin highlights what everybody brought to the battle in this episode, I thought was brilliant, because you get to see everybody's strengths individually, but how their individual strengths, when you put them together, really shine as a team. I continue to love it. And you also say this episode is one heck of a reminder to not underestimate our enemies, don't you think? Yeah, that very valuable lesson that hopefully Garza actually utilizes here this time around. So hopefully, I'm not expecting him to underestimate the Kiramagers next time around either. So if anything, the Kiramagers certainly better be on the lookout, because the way that Garza was acting, saying he's going to send them straight to hell himself, yeah, he's out for some revenge, to say the least. L'Oreal looks like Blossom's got a couple of other just comments in general. Tomitomo's really growing on me with his strategies in battle. About what I said about him being a dingus, I officially take it all back. Well, I'm glad that your feelings for Tomitomo certainly have changed over time. Not much of a dingus as you thought, huh? See? Juru having 2 insparkulations moments in one day was super mega ultra cool. If that doesn't say my sweet Babu is the best leader, nothing does. Yeah, I got to give Juru his props in regards to being a magnificent leader for this team, to say the least. What Oradin said about the team with their skills was amazing. The whole battle was more phenomenal, was as more phenomenal as I imagined. Yeah, it really was. I mean, like, even you can really feel what was at stake here, especially when Tommy Tomo already felt bad about pushing Seo onto this date in the first place. He clearly wants to go ahead and make it up for her, but even towards the end, like not even towards the end, but just before they even ran into battle, Juru and Tommy Tomo, I love just how he had like the inspirational, like, let's go type of thing at the end, right? Really getting everybody on board so they just all come out of battle all at once. So yeah, I absolutely loved Tommy Tomo here this week. Hopefully he's growing on a ton of people. You also say the Rangers reminded me of girls from the Star Twinkle Precure somewhat. Think of it as Kiramager for young girls. I think you did actually mention that to us once as well. You said it was so cool how the Zords used the arrow and destroyed that seed out of Garza's grasps. Serves that monster right. Yeah, that Careful Go arrow was certainly something spectacular to behold. Right up my alley when it comes to some of my favorite weapons that we have on any of these type of series. But listen, guys, at the end of the day, though, we want to know your thoughts. So let us know what you thought about episode number 33 in the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. But other than that, that's going to go ahead and do it for us here today. So thank you very much for certainly joining us. Remember, guys, if you do have any live viewer questions, whether that be about Kamen Rider Saber, Kiramager, or anything Power Rangers or Tokusatsu related, feel free to go ahead and send them over to us at any time at aplusmorephenomenal@gmail.com. Again, that's APlus, APLUS, morephenomenal@gmail.com. In the meantime, though, if you would like to follow us on social media, you can do so right here at APlus Opinions. You can find us on our main Facebook page, which is our hub. You can also find us very actively on Twitter, and we're also going to be on Instagram as well as Twitch for you gamers as well. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, do me a big favor, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Caramel change!